Hello everyone, welcome back to Soccer Showdown. Joe Archino here with the one and only Martino Puccio. And let's not lie, the world is a big place, but we make that world a little bit smaller with this show. Martino, let's start off like we always do in the English Premier League. Wayne Rooney is a player that certainly we would have been easily able to discuss in his ranking in the Premier League the last couple seasons. But his name has kind of fallen out of place, and we don't look at him the same way that we used to. Now, he's gotten a lot of criticism his way. Either it's been his leadership with the England national team or his leadership at Man United or even his play for that matter. So I will ask you, Martino, is the criticism warranted for this legend of the English Premier League?
Yeah, of course it is. And that's going to happen when you play for the biggest club in England and even the captain of the national team. In the standards that he's regarded as one of the best players to play for Manchester United the past 10 to 15 years, ever since he came over from Everton, played under Sir Alex Ferguson and won a lot under them, won a Champions League, a bunch of Premier League titles, and now that Manchester United's really been spiraling down ever since Ferguson left, it's just been very difficult for him. He hasn't been playing as well. He's getting paid $300,000 a week, so he's really not playing up to his standards. And just not just him, it's just Manchester United in general. But usually you look towards the captain, the elder statesman, to guide you out of that hole, and he hasn't really done a good job of it. So yeah, the criticism's warranted in for the national team and for United.
Now, we'll go to our match of the weekend because it's one that you cannot miss. So we have first place Chelsea going to the Etihad to take on third place Manchester City. Martino, we have talked about these clubs so much this season because they have just been phenomenal, almost a different level and a different identity than almost anyone else. That makes it a very difficult game to pick, but history might be on Chelsea's side. Who are you going with here?
I'm going with Chelsea in this game, and it's not just because they're also my pick again. Told you again. They're my pick to win the league. Don't forget that. I just don't really like how Manchester City has been playing. Chelsea has won 7 straight games. Conte's the first manager since Jose Mourinho at Chelsea to win 7 straight games for them in the Premier League. And they've also won 11 times at Manchester City. Most wins on the road against any team in EPL history for Chelsea. So it really looks like it's going their way. Man City's undefeated in their last 6 games, but there's a couple draws in there. They're not looking too hot. Aguero has been playing well against Chelsea last few meetings. He scored a hat-trick in the last time they met. But I'm still going to take Chelsea here, 2-1 win. Hazard and Diego Costa scoring the goals.
I mean, you wonder why this guy's picks are always right. It's because he does research in his homework. Stay in school, kids. It's important. But we go over now to Italian Serie A. And Martino, it's kind of a similar story. We were on this set many times, and we have just put this almost invincibility cloak over Juventus, saying there's no way they have the league on lock. Well, maybe the league is not on lock for them like we thought it was. A 3-1 loss against Genoa to them. Now, Martino, let me ask you, I've seen people write that Juve is sleepwalking through the Serie A season. Is that fair, and is their title aspirations in major jeopardy?
I wouldn't say in major jeopardy, but I think they might have to worry a little bit, and it's not just because of their play. It's the injuries, too. Marco Piacco, who they bought over the summer, is out for a few weeks still. Andrea Barzagli's still out because of his shoulder injury. Bonucci, obviously, with his thigh, he's out till late January. And Dani Alves just broke his leg. So they do have some depth, but the midfield itself doesn't look like it's playing that well. And it's not just been the Pogba loss. It's been the loss of Arturo Vidal. And they've really looked shaky ever since they lost to Milan. And they play Atalanta coming up this week, and they're one of the more hot teams in the league, and they're a young, hungry team. And I don't think it's a gimme that they're going to get that win against them. So looking forward, I think it really depends also for Milan if Milan's going to get that deal to go through by December 13th for the the January transfer market for a $100 million budget so they can reinforce the squad. If the deal doesn't go through and it's going to be by January, which they won't have as much money and time to buy new players, I think that'll benefit Juve more. But they just got to get healthy first and then go from there. But I still think they'll be fine, but yeah.
Well, we now go to our Italian Serie A match of the weekend, and I mean, look, we've got a lot of great ones across every league, but it's no different in Serie A. We have Lazio, we have Roma, one of the just greatest rivalries in all of professional sports. The fan bases, to say that they dislike each other, that might be an understatement. But Martino, when you look at this historic rivalry here, second place Roma taking on fourth place Lazio, a lot is riding on this match here. Who do you have coming out?
Same situation with Roma and Juve. They've had injuries banged up. They've been banged up with injuries, obviously, and they just haven't been playing as well as they were expected to, because I think almost everyone had them on a lock for the 2 spot. They're there right now, but they have injuries to Mohamed Salah, Stefan El Shaarawy, Kostas Manolas is banged up, Florenzi's out for a while, and they just lost Paredes as well. Lazio's been unbeaten in their last 9 after losing to Milan back in September, so that really bodes well for them, and Inzaghi's got them coached up very well. Roma's given up 3 goals also in their last 3 games. Szczesny's a little shaky in between the sticks, so I have Lazio actually winning this one 2-1.
Wow, big call there, but there are none bigger than El Clasico. Real Madrid, Barcelona, the 2 biggest clubs in the world clashing off. It is the Super Bowl times 50, and it is as good as it gets, and we are in store for it once again this weekend. Martino, I'm going to set you up for a pick, and obviously this will be a fun one that you get to pick, and I'll make a pick as well, because this is a game that you just have to pick. Now, last season, Barcelona was riding a 39-match unbeaten run going into El Clasico Part 2 of the season, and they ended up losing 2-1 to Real Madrid. This season, Real Madrid is in first place in La Liga. They ride a 32-match unbeaten streak going into the Camp Nou. So, Martino, all the consistency has been on Real Madrid's side so far this season. Does that get them a win in the biggest match of their season?
No, I don't think so, and I'm going to keep following my narrative of injuries. And they don't. Real Madrid does not have Toni Kroos, they don't have Alvaro Morata, and they don't have Gareth Bale. And Gareth Bale is obviously the major one, because he is a difference maker, as you noticed in Copa del Rey. I think it was a year or 2 ago when he had that big goal when he ran down the line. I think that's a big loss for them. Ronaldo has 10 goals. He's playing fantastic, but I think you kind of see where I'm going here. I have Barcelona winning this one 3-1.
Oh, what do you have there?
A nice Neymar jersey. I don't have him scoring, but I have Messi scoring and Suarez scoring twice for a win for Barcelona and knocking off Real Madrid and defeating them and ending their 32-match unbeaten streak. But I think you have a different view.
Well, you know, it's very difficult. This is a game where I think either way you kind of try to slice it up, you could go either way here. And I think it's very easy to continue to go with Barcelona here, because how could you see them losing this game? There seems to be something missing with Barcelona right now. I don't know if it's a spark or what, but there's something missing there. And I think it would kind of be the perfect upset for Real Madrid to have this unbeaten run, then to go and to lose this game. But I don't think that will happen. I do have Real Madrid winning this one, and I have not picked them to beat Barcelona often, but I just think this is one of those situations where they have just been the more consistent side so far this season, and that enables them to get a win in a game as good as it gets. But I always tell people who have not experienced El Clasico before, the only way to experience this game, which is almost indescribable by its nature, is just to sit there and watch it, because there's nothing like it in professional sports. Even if you're not a soccer fan, you have to just tune into it, because it is indescribable in every single way. But one more topic to discuss today, Martino. U.S. men's soccer. We have kind of made it a tradition to talk about the state of the national team on this show. And there is a new man in charge there. Bruce Arena will be taking back the reins of the national team. And look, it's one of those things where he's been there before. He did some good things with them. But is it just a continual cycle of resorting back to the old ways now that you bring back a guy who used to be in charge?
I mean, you could even follow the narrative in soccer, too, when you saw Jose Mourinho go back to Chelsea. I mean, they won the league the first year round, but it just did not end well. And usually reunions don't really work that well in soccer. And I think I'm going to stick to that narrative, obviously, because Bruce Arena is another move like we talked about when we discussed USA Soccer a couple weeks ago with Jurgen Klinsmann. They seem to be doing the 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And it's not just Bruce Arena's fault. We've discussed it. Soccer is a totally different animal in America, with basketball, NFL, NHL, and even baseball dominating the whole spectrum of sports. But they don't have, when Landon Donovan is your best, most popular player for 10 to 15 years, and he's probably not even considered a top to 200 to 300 player of all time, you're going to have problems getting the youth involved in that. They need a young star, like I've said. I mean, Christian Pulisic is a nice springboard to go off of, but that's just one guy. If you look at all the other countries around the world, Argentina, Brazil, Italy, Spain, England, England even if they're not winning, they have more than one guy. They usually have at least 5 to 10 young guys around our age, 20 to 21 years old, that they're able to get the youth involved and just provide a whole spark and inspiration of players for the future to play. So I don't see USA Soccer actually improving anytime soon. I mean, the league is only 20 years old, the reboot of the MLS, and it's just going to take a while. It's going to be patient. I mean, you could just compare it to USA Basketball and the rest of the world. They just got to play catch up, and it's going to be that way for at least the next 30 years.
Sometimes honesty hurts, folks, but reality is very important. But that is going to do it for us today on Soccer Showdown. El Clasico this weekend. It's as good as it gets. Martino Puccio, Joe Archino here. Thank you for listening, everyone.